Hi all, I'm just chilling over here at the new gold farm that I made in the previous episode, trying to get myself some items that I'll be needing later today. However, I'm afraid that I'm going to run out of storage as this farm relies on shulker box storage. With all of the new redstone farms that I'm starting to build, that is becoming a recurring theme in this world. I do not have enough shulker boxes. That's why today I'm going to focus on putting together a shulker shell farm so that I can expand my storage throughout the world and make life a lot easier. But firstly, this farm requires me to get hold of a few things first that I don't quite have yet. The first of those being quite easy to get hold of, and that is bamboo. So I just headed over to the first bamboo forest I could find and cut down as much as I would need, as I don't really need to make a farm for this yet. The second thing I needed was wither roses. Now you don't technically need these, there is an alternative version you can use, but it's not quite as good, and I do plan on using wither roses in some future projects anyways, so I figured it'd be a good chance to actually go ahead and get a load of them. But to do this I need to get a wither. Now fortunately in the very first episode of this series I was lucky enough to already get one wither skull. Oh, no way! So all I had to do was head over to the nether and kill some wither skeletons to get the final two that I needed. With looting 3, this didn't take too long, so I headed over to the end. Alright, well I'm thinking of using the technique where you actually take advantage of the bottom of this being bedrock, and then you can quite easily kill the wither, so let's give this a try. Okay, I think this should do it. If this doesn't work, we're going to have a major problem on our hands. Alright, we're safe. Oh, no we're not. Oh no. Well, this is going to be fun. Surprised I haven't got the wither effect yet, actually. I guess he hasn't hit me with his main head. Can't believe I messed this up. The Endermen are going crazy. Which is a good point actually, if I hide, because the wither goes after mobs, he would just chase the Enderman around for a bit, which would give me the time I need to just sort of recuperate, but I am amazed at how easy this is. Is he actually going after the Enderman and not me? He's chasing after me, so I don't understand how I've avoided him so effectively. Okay, he's in melee mode. Oh, I felt that. I felt that. I think he can actually heal himself when he's in this mode, so we don't want to waste too much time. I have a lot of gold now, so I'm not afraid to eat a couple of apples here. Come on. Oh my gosh, I was not expecting to have to deal with that today. Well, at least I can say that I killed the wither in hardcore mode without cheating, even if that wasn't my intention. I think what I did wrong is this is supposed to be like one further back, or maybe one lower, but don't recommend it. Although saying that, the first round was very surprisingly easy. And while I'm here, I'm also planning on resummoning the Ender Dragon so that I can actually get myself a second portal, as I'll be needing another one, and you'll see just why in a moment. There it is. Now, I have an elytra, which always makes this so much easier. Now I just need to get these two, and honestly for these two I find that the method of shooting it from below is the safest. There we go. Nice. And there it is. That was so much quicker now that I have actual weapons. Let's see if we can repair my pickaxe as well. Alright, so where is the second portal? There it is. Cool, that is perfect. Oh my gosh guys, so what I've just realised standing here looking at this thing, planning how I'm going to make the next farm, I've realised that the whole reason I got the wither skeleton skulls was to make a wither as part of this farm. So I've just, although I had fun getting it, wasted killing this wither, so I need to go and get 3 more, and then we're going to build the farm. I cannot believe I did that. But at least now I can craft myself a beacon. And what I'll do actually is probably use the gold from the gold farm to power it, but we'll get around to doing that later. And so now we get to building a wither rose farm. Now there are a lot of different versions you can use, and there's really no one way to make this, but I used a design that's based off of one made by Shulker Farm, and it takes advantage of the gateway portal to trap a wither inside, and then he's aggro at a chicken, which you can't quite kill, and all of the attacks that he sends out kills the enderman, which fall down from literally the most basic enderman farm on top. For this farm to work, you kind of want to go just far away enough so that only endermen are spawning in your farm, and then of course they're not spawning on any islands nearby. But that is the big problem with this farm. You really want to do it over the void so that the wither doesn't get distracted by those endermen on the ground nearby, which you'll see I didn't do and ended up regretting as well. Alright, well I've AFK'd up here for around 30 minutes. Let's pow down and see what we've got. Oh, alright. That is not... Oh no! Oh my gosh, that enderman is after me. Oh, that was stressful. So anyways, as I was trying to explain before I nearly got assassinated there, the issue with this farm is it really only works best when there's no landmass near it, as the wither can sort of lose sight of the chicken and get distracted by the enderman, and there was a moment there where it was working, but I think as I came down it just kind of broke itself. But hopefully we've got enough of what we need and we won't have to start this up again. Oh yeah, look at that. That is amazing. So actually it didn't even fill up too far, but I think this is enough wither roses to do everything that we're going to need. So thankfully I don't think we'll have to put ourselves through this again. Well, here we are guys. I'm finally crafting up the last few bits of items that we're going to be needing for this farm. I went back and got myself some string from the gold farm, as I wanted to add that so that I could have everything I need for this. And so we should have about 5 shulker boxes now of everything that we're going to need. If you was wondering what this room is down here, this is actually the converted conduit room, which I've kind of turned into a makeshift basement over here. So I'm going to go ahead and sleep. Now it's kind of funny because I originally said that I wanted to build all of my redstone farms on this bit of land over here, But ironically, not a single one that we've made has ended up being here, as they've all been built on site in a specific location somewhere else. So finally we're going to have the opportunity to make something over here and start turning this area into a kind of farming district, if you were. So I'm going to find some random spot on this island, it's pretty large, to build this farm, and then we're going to get to work. Let's talk a little bit about this Shulker Farm. I've actually never made one before, and I went with this design because it honestly just looks really simple, and I don't need the absolute best farms in this world, as I don't think it'll be fully necessary. I know that there are other scaffolding based Shulker farms, some of which claim to have much better rates, but I wanted to go with this design because, again, I liked the simplicity, and it's a design by EndingCredits, and I believe that he was the first person to come up with this method. I think his first video on the topic was about 2 years ago, so I thought, it'd be really cool to actually sort of give this guy the credit that he deserves. And speaking of Shulkercraft, the guy I mentioned for the Wither Rose farm previously, he actually made a tutorial for this, so you can use that if you're planning on making this in your world. But I do also have my schematic for this farm and the previous farm in the description, with a couple of tweaks, as I always make, just to make it a bit more survival friendly in my opinion. And the way this farm works pretty much is you have one shulker at the very bottom, which is hitting himself and getting hit and causing him to divide, and all of those shulkers that divide land on the scaffolding, and that's really the genius of this farm. It takes advantage of a mechanic where if one of the shulkers lands on it, or at least lands in the farm and then opens up on it, however it works, it doesn't quite like the situation it's in, and it's forced to kind of teleport its way up until it eventually dies. And there's a lot of really great ingenuity in this farm, which is one of the reasons I like it. There's a lot of redstone-less clocks and just clever mechanisms, which was really fun when putting it together. And my favourite feature of all is when the shulker does eventually die, which it would, or let's say you accidentally killed it, it actually has a replacement mechanism so that there's always one waiting, which I really like, because I hate it when farms break, as they always do, and it's great to see a farm that's actually ready for that and has a built-in repair mechanism. Well, here it is. This thing is a monstrosity, and I gotta say, it looks really awesome. Now, I will say I certainly underestimated the difficulty of this build. In my mind, it was just a couple of stone brick slabs and scaffolding, so I thought it would be pretty quick to make, but in the end, this did take me quite a bit of time. Now, this thing isn't actually functional just yet, as of course we need to get a shulker in here, and to do that, theoretically, I just need to drop a shulker in a minecart onto this rail, and it has a pretty nifty feature where it's able to restock itself if there isn't one down there. So right now, for example, it is detecting that there's nothing there, and if there was a shulker with a minecart waiting, it would refill itself. So now we need to go ahead and get one of them, which is always difficult. I think what I'll do is just build a bridge to 0, as that's where he'll spawn when I put him into the portal, and then we'll try and figure out the end side afterwards. Alright, well we're coming up to 0, here. There it is. Now the world spawn in this world I've set exactly to 0, just to make life nice and simple. And I believe when you put something through the end portal, it will go to the world spawn point and it will pick the highest location. And there's certainly nothing above this, so theoretically, if we get a shulker through, it should show up here. Now before I do that, and before I even do the rails here, as I'm not even sure I'll have enough, we're going to go to the end and try and figure this out. So according to Chunkbase, there should be a relatively close city right on the border of the void if we head south. So I'm going to do that and see what we find. From here, I allowed the farm to run for a couple of hours, which also filled up the buffer, which is going to help increase the speed of the farm. Oh, I can't tell you how nice it is to have all these shulker shells after scraping for empty shulker boxes. There's something funny about putting shulker shells in a shulker box. From here, before I could put any of the shells to use, I went and grabbed myself some wood, as I will be needing to make a lot of chests. And while I'm doing this, I should probably mention, if you're planning on building this farm yourself, I recommend making a hopper line that just extends a little bit away from the farm for your storage if you plan on collecting it regularly, as collecting it, as you saw in that previous clip, is a bit of a pain as they all kind of attack you. But I don't plan on going back and collecting this stuff very often, so I went with the compact option. But that was it, so I went and crafted up all of my shulker boxes and filled up the previous farms that I had made so that they can be AFK'd for the future.